Test on two. We're live. Welcome to my first podcast. My name is Mark Crott. I am Sydney based and I'm recording from my storage place in Sydney. I run my businesses from here basically. So my music stuff and breakfast shirts, which I own with my best mate Sam. So I thought it's only fitting that I do the podcast from here. If you know me, you'd know I'd spend the last couple of years vlogging. I'm basically switching from vlogging to podcasting. I'm still making videos for my businesses and stuff, but basically for vlogging, I'd spend 5 to 20 hours pumping out a video only for Facebook to change an algorithm and half as many people would see it. And it just got to a stage where I wasn't getting the numbers. So I thought it's time to move on. The main point of the videos was to bring awareness to what I was doing. And I did that for a year or so, and now it's on to podcasting. The second point is I want to become a better talker. I'm always umming, ahhing, moving. Like I'm moving my hands right now. Like it's fucking unnecessary. I shouldn't need to do that. I know I'm Italian. It's probably the only Italian trait I got because I hate olives, but still it's unnecessary. So I want to be a better talker, more fluent. I don't want to digress on topics as much. So I thought podcasting will be a good place for me to do that. What you can expect to hear on the podcast. So it's going to be conversation based. Each podcast I'll have a new person on. A lot of the time it'll be people in similar industries I'm in. So whether that be e-commerce startups or businesses or video producers, photographers, like the creative space, but not exclusively. So for instance, my friend Joe, his dad is literally gold hunting in Perth. He bought a bulldozer and he's just like, yeah, I'm heading over and I'm going to search for gold. So I definitely want to get him on. That'd be very interesting. If you know anyone who wants to come on, and if they're Sydney based preferably, get them to send me a message. If this is the first time you are hearing me, I'll give you a bit of background. So predominantly I'm a musician. So for the last 5 years, I've been solo acoustic singing all around Sydney. Only the last 2.5, 3 years has it been my full-time income and profession. The best thing about that is, as the gigs are usually Thursday to Sunday, like nights, I've had a lot of time to pursue other projects. So I started off by working in radio. I worked as a freelance video editor. I produced content for Coca-Cola as a social media coordinator. I launched a consumer app called Handpicked, which recently closed down, and I'll be going into more depth about that in future podcasts. But that was a good 2 years. It was a good 2 years. I learned a lot. It was stressful, but so then I started Breakfast Shirts, which was a long-term project with me and my mate Sam. And right now I'm just being a musician and running Breakfast Shirts. Breakfast Shirts has definitely been... Well, it's only been up and running for 6 months technically, but it's been the most successful so far. And that is in the form of it's actually turning over, which is great. It only took me 5 years, but I got there. I'm going to add one more thing, and that is that I'm not intending for this podcast to educate you on business or give out business advice. Like I have friends and friends of friends who sometimes ask for advice because they see all this stuff I'm doing, and I always feel uncomfortable because like last week I put $8 worth of petrol in my car just to get home. Like $8 and then this and extra. I'm 25, and there's so many of these alleged entrepreneurs who are working for themselves and killing it, and fucking none of them are rocking up in Bentleys, and I'm sure there are some, but for the most part, none of them are rocking up in Bentleys, and if they are, they don't own them. And I just don't want to be classed in that group of people. So, it's just going to be a real conversations here. I'm not writing myself off. There are some topics which I'm happy to weigh in on. Maybe things like storytelling, video editing, a little bit about e-commerce and music. But at the end of the day, like I'm just trying to sell some breakfast shirts here, book some gigs, and, slowly start to make some stuff happen. And look, the people I'm having on this podcast, a lot of the time, they will be educating me on my business stuff. So there will be some value in that aspect. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest just so we're on the same page here. Thank you for listening. The first official podcast will probably be in 2 or 3 weeks, so stay tuned.